Hi there, Surviving Scrappy Mania, and today I got a flower tutorial for you. Now you may have seen other flower tutorials that I had in the past. I have a tutorial where I show you how to create these burlap flowers. I also have a tutorial how you can create these denim flowers. And I also have some tutorials how you can create these roses. These were done with the Tim Holt Tatter Roses. And these were done with my punches. So this is also was done with actually a Spellbinder rose punch. Petal punch that I have, a 5-petal punch. So that was done with that. These were done with my punches. So I like to buy punches when they're on sale. And I use them to create my dimensional flowers. This was basically just done with burlap that I cut some. I put burlap. I put adhesive. And then I took some strips out of the burlap and created this kind of dimension. And also I have one that has, some of them I have put centers on it. This one, let's see if I can find one. I really don't have one with centers, but I like to create these kind of flowers. And then I keep them in a box, some type of box like this. And where I can then later on when I'm doing projects, I can pull and make them. This other one was created with the Petal stamp from E-Cake Success. If you have bought the stamping gear, they have a Petal punch within that stamping gear collection, and that's how I created this flower. This flower was also created with just a regular punch. Now, let's see. Some of the flowers, and let's see if I find that one. Actually, this flower was actually created using a technique with this tool here, or this clay that I created. And I show you how to create this clay. And I use petals. So I free foamed this petal. I just cut them out, just freehand. And then I put it in the foam. I mixed it with some water. And I formed the shape using this. And that what created that pretty dimensional flowers. So it's pretty big. This one was created with this punch and using burnt glue technique, and then going over with, after I burned the glue, I went over it with some of my copper inks. And see how you can get a lot of different looking flowers. But one of the flowers that I want to show you how to create, that I really, really love how it came out, is these flowers. They're very different from my other flowers. To me, these are more like poppy flowers. And I created these using this punch. And this is the Marvy punch. It's a 3-petal punch. I also used this Floriano punch. This is a 5-petal punch, but you can use any 5-petal punch that you have. And then I used this E-Cake Success, and I think this is called Poppy punch, and it's the medium size. I also used this Starburst punch, and this is from McGill. Let me put this away. And you're going to need a foam pad. You're going to need an embossing tool. I like the 12-inch embossing tool from McGill. I also like the 4-millimeter embossing tool. This is actually 12-millimeter. This is the 4-millimeter embossing tool. And I also like this embossing tool. This is the Chatterbox. And it doesn't have the millimeters, but this is the large side and the smaller side. And I'm also going to use hot glue because I really want to do this pretty quickly. Now, what I like to do is, I have a lot of scraps, and I know you guys also have a lot of scraps after you make your cards and things like that. So what I like to do is grab these scrap pieces of paper, and then I just punch away. I use my punch, and I punch as many flowers as I can out of it, because if I have a lot of teeny flowers, then I can create teeny little rosettes like these, like this one. Let's see if I find one. It's like this one. So for these little punches, I can create little rosettes like this. If I have large flowers, then of course I can create the larger flowers or even these type of flowers. So that's why I kind of just punch away, get rid of all my paper, you know, make them into shapes. And then after they're in shapes, I'll just sit down and start creating whatever flowers come out of them. But this is a technique that I just learned how to do. What inspired me to do this type of flower is that I was watching the 2015 CHA Prima shows that, you know, scrapbook.com had on. Also, Noelle Hyman had it on. She was going, you know, she was presenting a lot of the new products that are coming in 2015. So I saw these flowers and I really love how they looked. So I decided maybe I can do it with my punch. And I did. I was able to recreate those flowers similar to the Prima flowers, but I was able to recreate them. So let me show you how easy peasy this can be done. Okay, so I'm going to make this color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to need, and this is pretty heavy cardstock, I'm going to need 3 of these. So these are the 5 petal flowers. Okay. I'm going to need 3 of the 3 petal flowers. 3 of these. And then I'm going to need 3 of these. So I got 3, 3, 3. And then I like to use my dark scraps of cardstock for the center. So for this one, I may want to use the black. Let's see. Yeah, the black will look nice. So I need 3 of the black centers. Okay. So what we're going to do first, now if you want to ink the flowers, the edges, so let me go ahead and ink. I didn't ink those, so let's look and see how these will show with a nice inked edge. So you want to go ahead and ink it before you start shaping your flowers. So let's do that. So I'm going to start, once I ink it, I'm going to go ahead and emboss my flower. So notice that the paper that I want to show, I want to go ahead and emboss it so that way the embossing flower comes up. If I was doing a rose, and you see my other videos, I tend to put my flower upside down. So the side that I do not want to show is the one that's facing me. And I emboss the edges and the flower and I create the rose. That's how you create this dimensional rose like that. But we don't want to do that. We actually want to create this kind of cuff flower like you see there. So in order to do that, I want to go ahead and have the paper side up, the pretty paper side up. Then I'm going to take my stylus, and I'm using the medium-sized stylus, and I'm going to go around the edges of my petal. Do that real quickly. And see how that kind of rolls up the edges just a little bit. And now I'm going to take the large embossing tool and I'm just going to go in the center. See how I'm kind of rolling in the center and then dragging it in. So I'm going to roll the center and drag it in. Going to roll around the center of my petal, just rolling in circle and then drag it in. And then that creates that. For your 5 petal flowers, I do not use, this one to me it's a little too large in order to create the effect that I want. So I use the medium size, either this one or this smaller size. This is a little smaller than that one. So I would go around the edges with this one first, the smaller of the stylus that I have. So whatever stylus you have, with the smallest one, you want to go around the edges. Now you don't want to use something that is this small. This is just too small for that large petal. These work, this stylus works great for this smaller petal, but not for these. These are just too large for that tiny little stylus. Now you can find these in your craft store, and sometimes you can use your coupon to get a set of the McGill's. I just happen to have this one. This one came with this, the curling tool, the piercing tool, 12 millimeter and 4 millimeter. And then I had this one. And I do have a set of 3 of these that are clay, and I got this at Joann's. But this is the one that I got when I was a long time ago from Stampin' Up. So I usually use this one and this one when I'm creating these large flowers. And then you're going to take your medium-sized stylus and you're just going to roll the center and then drag it in like you see me doing here. Roll the center and drag it in. And then you're going to create that. Put that aside. Now you're going to take your 5-petal smaller flower and then you're going to use the smallest of your stylus. And that one you're going to go ahead and face up also and just roll it around in the center of that petal and then drag it in. So roll around, drag it in, roll around, drag it in, roll it around and drag it in. So you want to roll it on the petal, so kind of roll around the petal and then drag it in and create this. So I'm going to go ahead and finish doing that to all my petals. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to show you how to shape the Starburst. So you're going to take your Starburst, you put it on your foam, your mouse pad or your foam, and just take the medium stylus, go in the center, and push down and then just twirl. And when you do that, notice how it just naturally cuffs up. That's what you want. You want it to cup up like that. Okay, so now I'm ready to kind of glue things together. So I have my hot glue ready to go, and I recommend that you use the low setting. If you put it too hot, you're going to burn your fingers. Low setting is a nice little temperature. It does the trick. It does glue your pieces together, but you're not going to burn your fingers if you happen to touch the glue. Just put a dab of glue on the bottom of one of the sunbursts. Then insert that into that first sunburst that you did. Then you can take this third one. So now you have 2. You're going to take the third one. I like to open it up a little bit. Like that. Okay. I'll take some glue on the tip, on the bottom of my Starburst. And then I put it together like that. Okay. And then to finish it off, I just take one of the smallest 5-petal flowers, put some adhesive on the bottom, and then put that on the center of this. And I'll leave it like that. I'm going to set it aside. Now I'm ready to form my flowers. So I'm going to take my first 3-petal flower. I'm going to open it up. Take the second one. I'm going to open it up a little bit. Put a little bit of adhesive on the bottom of that one. And then offset it. And you have some time to move your petals around. And just offset it. So that way you put it in between each petal. Like you see there. Okay? Nice and offset it. So now I'm going to put adhesive on the 5-petal flower, and I'm going to place that there. Get my next one, open it up just a little bit, put adhesive on the bottom, and then offset it, and then push it down. And you want to push it down as you glue them together. You really want to flatten out the centers. And then put that here and offset it. So notice that I'm putting it all offset. Okay. Now I'm ready to put my smaller 5-petal flowers. Put some adhesive, center of my flower. The same thing here. Oh, here's my other 5 petal. I was looking for this one. Let me go ahead and put this one. It makes it fuller. So that looks nice. Okay. So now you have this. Doesn't look like much. So now what's going to make it very interesting is when we put the middle one in the center here. And then I'm going to use a pair of tweezers. Now push it, and then I'm going to pull out the flowers. I'm going to give it some shape, and I'm going to pull out my middle stamen, my sunburst, and I'm just going to give it some shape. I open these a little more, and that's it. You can put some glitter if you want on this, whatever you want to do. But here is that flower. So look how pretty that is. Now this one, you can open it up a little bit. See how these are not that open? But you can play with this, open it up a little more if you want to. And see how it really changes a little bit as you open it up. Plus, this one was more cardstock. So when you make your flower out of cardstock, it's more close. And these were made with just text weight paper, so it's very light paper. It's not cardstock, so you get a little different look depending on the paper that you use, but it's still a very pretty flower. So these are my new flowers, and especially I ran out of those centers, so then I decided to put a little button and see how cute that button looks there. But think about using pearls for the center, or glue with glitter or anything like that. That would look very nice. So those are my flowers. So I hope you like this video on how you create these wonderful little flowers inspired by the 2015 CHA Prima flowers, and also how you can use all your scrap papers, your punches, and repurpose them and create nice embellishments for your layouts, cards, and gifts. So I hope you like this video. Thank you for watching. Bye now.